Hey y'all, welcome to Camirra's Kitchen. Honey, we are going to be making some delicious meatballs in a homemade brown gravy. I have some garlicky green beans, some garlic mashed potatoes. Honey, your family is going to love this recipe because these meatballs are delicious, but this whole meal is easy to make. Go ahead and support your girl and buy one of my ebooks. I will link to my shop in the description box. Honey, I am out here with 3 jobs. You ain't even got to make the recipes. Just support your girl. The first thing we're going to get into is these meatballs with brown gravy. I have 1.25 pounds of 85 15-gram beef. And to this, I'm going to season it very simply with some beef bouillon, salt, pepper, garlic powder, onion powder, a little bit of fresh onions and peppers. And instead of doing eggs and breadcrumbs, I decided to put in 1/2 cup of finely grated Parmesan cheese as my binder. It's going to add a little bit of moisture. Sometimes I just don't like to add so much bread into things, but you can instead add 1/4 cup of breadcrumbs and 1 egg if you like. Next, I'm going to start rolling out my meatballs, and I'm going to make them about 1.5 inches in diameter. However, if you want to make them larger or a bit smaller, look, that is chef's choice, okay? Once I have them all rolled out, I'm going to let them sit at room temperature for about 10 minutes because I don't want them to be cold before I put them in the pan. Into my skillet, I'm adding 1 tablespoon of butter and a little bit of olive oil. The olive oil tends to help the butter not burn, and it also has a great flavor. Over medium heat, I am going to cook my meatballs on each side for about 2 or 3 minutes. The goal here is to really brown the meat. If the meatballs are not cooked all the way, that's actually not a big deal because I'm going to simmer this in the gravy for a little bit. To help my meatballs cook, I'm going to cover this pan, turn the heat to a medium low, and just let it cover for about 3 minutes. This is also going to make some of the meatballs release a little bit of their juice, which is fine. That is just going to flavor up the sauce. It is important that you get those brown bits on the bottom of your pan. You definitely don't want them to be burnt, but that is the key to the flavor for your gravy. When my meatballs are mostly done, I'm going to take them out and then I'm going to scrape off all of the fond on the bottom of the pan and just allow this to burn off a bit of the moisture for about 2 to 3 minutes. That way my flour is going to toast a little bit better. I'm going to toast 1.5 tablespoons of flour for about 2 minutes, stirring continuously. Honey, don't walk away. Okay, this ain't the time to go to the bathroom. You're going to burn your flour, which is going to totally mess up your gravy. Okay, so when you get to a color that is about like this is when you're going to start adding in water. I like to add in water from my kettle. It's already been boiling, so it doesn't change the temperature of the pan. You add enough water to get the thickness of the gravy that you want. I start off adding about 4 cups of water, and then I put in just a touch of cream. This is about 2 tablespoons. This adds a nice richness to your gravy and gives it a nice silky texture. So just put enough water until you get the consistency that you want. I've heard a lot of people say they have trouble making brown gravy, but baby, if you take notes and pay attention, class, I'm showing you what to do. This gravy is very flavored from those brown bits, but I feel like it needs a little bit of oomph. So I'm going to add 2 teaspoons of beef better than bouillon. This is low sodium, and to make it brown, honey, just put in a little browning, okay? I'm just putting in maybe about 1/2 teaspoon, and that's going to give it a darker color. The only thing my gravy needed was a little bit of pepper. I'm telling you, it had a great flavor. But if you want to add garlic powder and things like that, go ahead. When you add those meatballs back, it is very important that you add the juices from that bowl. That is going to further enhance the dish, and then you mix the gravy around in these meatballs. Now, honey, don't eat it just like this, okay? These meatballs was a little pink on the inside. All right, so I had to cover it up, and I had to cook this for about 4 minutes until the flavors for the meatballs mix with the gravy. And honey, this is delicious. Let me know if you're going to make this recipe. And then I'm going to show you these garlic mashed potatoes. Oh my goodness, these were so good. Now I'm going to show y'all a little hack, okay, a little trick on how to get some really creamy and mashed potatoes as well as some easy flavor into them. So make sure y'all pay attention. First off, I'm going to peel my potatoes and then I'm going to cut them into about 1-inch pieces. That is going to make them easier for mashing. And after I cut them, I'm going to put them in some water because y'all know I don't want the potatoes to get brown and just mess up the whole look of the dish. Then, of course, I am going to put on some boiling water and I'm going to generously salt this because y'all, we don't want no bland potatoes. All right, y'all know potatoes be struggling when it comes to flavor. I'm going to cook the potatoes for about 15 to 20 minutes and look now. I'm telling y'all, this is a secret. Add in about half of the package, or really you could even do the whole package of these roasted garlic potatoes. This will not taste like them school cafeteria potatoes. I promise you that. Okay, I promise you. All right. Put in about half the packet. Then you're going to add in about 3/4 of a cup of heavy cream and about 1/4 of a cup of sour cream. I'm going to use about a teaspoon of roasted garlic bouillon. I'm going to salt and pepper just to my taste, and I'm going to go in there and I'm going to begin to mash. You also want to add butter to your liking because you know butter make everything better. And in total, I used about 3 tablespoons of butter. I'm going to work that in, and I find that the roasted garlic instant potatoes adds a good flavor and also a good texture to the potatoes. Okay, if you try this, let me know because are you 100% loyal to the Southern style green beans? I really like to make a very simple garlicky butter green bean on a regular basis because it's just easier for me and it's quicker. And y'all know Southern people will overcook some vegetables in a minute. Now, you know, don't get offended because, you know, I'm from the South and I love all the grandmamas and church mamas and big mamas. But I'm just saying. So I prefer to just steam my green beans in some water for about 4, maybe 5 minutes. And then I'm going to drain off the excess water. Now your green beans are tender, but they're still a bit crisp. Then I'm going to add in about a tablespoon of butter. And I like to pair a little bit of olive oil with that too, just for some flavor. I'm going to let this butter melt in the middle of the green beans because I'm going to load this up with about 4 to 5 cloves of minced garlic. Like, can you ever have too much fresh minced garlic? Maybe if you're a vampire, but not for me, all right? I'm going to let this garlic toast in the middle of the pan for about 30 seconds until it is nice and fragrant. Then I'm going to add on some salt, some pepper, and I ended up adding a little bit of lemon pepper, but fresh squeezed lemon juice will be perfect as well. And you have some beautiful green beans. Y'all, what on this plate are you going to eat first? You know your girl went straight in for some meatballs, gravy, and mashed potatoes paired with some Hawaiian rolls. This was an easy and delicious meal. You guys know I love you and Jesus loves you. Goodbye and God bless.